Joe Hopkins here, and yeah, you should get a record player. And I was thinking about that recently because for Christmas, my wife bought me a record player. I haven't had one in a little while. So, of course, I go to the closet and get a box of records out that has been sitting in there. And surprise, surprise, some of my favorite records aren't in my box. I think they might be at my parents' house, some of them. And some of them, I think, just disappeared. But you should definitely get a record player. And I'll tell you why. Why you should get a record player. As musicians, it's good to listen to all different kinds of music. And you know what? A lot of it isn't on streaming. It isn't. All the really popular stuff, the big stuff that everybody knows, everybody's heard, it's on streaming. All the new stuff, everybody puts out stuff now, it's all on streaming. It's all out there. It's available. But I was going through my box of records. I'll look at it down here. There is stuff that it's not only not on streaming, it never made it to CD. Like, if you don't have a record player, you can't get this stuff. And even then, it's like it's oddball stuff that can be really cool to check out. Or, for instance, classical music. There are a lot of excellent classical recordings that are not on streaming or on CD or on anything else. They put them out on record, and that was it. This is from the Musical Heritage Society. Haydn and Handel with guitar. They took some works by Franz Joseph Haydn and George Friedrich Handel. And let's see, Haydn is the quartet in G major, and Handel is the sonata in F major for oboe and guitar. And they include guitar on it. The Haydn quartet, you have, guitar, flute, violin, and viola. And Handel, same kind of thing. You have guitar, flute and guitar, stuff like that, you know? You can't find this on streaming. You can't find it on CD. It was on record. They made a record. The Musical Heritage Society pressed a record, and this is it. If you get it on record, you've got it. And if otherwise, you don't. But there's other cool stuff, you know? Let's see what I got here. I got some old Peter, Paul, and Mary. You could probably find them on streaming. They were popular enough. Oddball stuff. Oh, wow. I haven't gone through this box entirely. Rock and Roll Disco with Fat Albert. There you go. Yeah, Fat Albert and the Junkyard Band. I don't know if you're going to find that on streaming, especially since this was Bill Cosby, and that's gotten a little problematic nowadays, but I have it. And let's see, there are still some kids' records in here. Somehow we ended up with the kids' records, Sesame Street and stuff like that. Oh, here we go. Let's Go West Again, Sons of the Pioneers. And this is a record that came out, I guess, oh, God, when did they release this? 80s? 1980? Something like that. Yeah, but the recordings are all from the 50s, late 40s, early 50s. I don't know how available stuff like this is. Now, some people don't like this stuff, right? I had a bunch of old country western stuff that can be hard to find. I don't know how much people like that stuff, but it's cool. I think it's cool, and it's a sound that just isn't around anymore. You can only get some of this stuff on record. Here we go. Hawaii, Isle of Paradise, Hawaiian music. Yeah, the Honolulu Guitars. I don't think you're going to find this, you know. Now, of course, some of this stuff maybe not for you, maybe not for everybody, but the point is, whatever you're into, there's a lot of recordings that were put out that were never popular enough, mainstream popular enough to move into the realm of any other music. They never put them onto CD. They never put them onto streaming. They're not out there now. And, you know, let me see what else we got in here. And you can find some cool older stuff in here. Oh my God. All the songs from Walt Disney's Uncle Remus. I'd be willing to bet that you're not finding this out there. But I did like the music from this. I really did. I don't see you finding it there anymore, you know. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. Yeah, that didn't make it to streaming, I don't think. Maybe the zippity-doo-dah did. I don't know. But a lot of that stuff, that's problematic now, you know. What do we got here? Oh, somehow I ended up with one of my mom's gospel albums, Robert Hale and Dean Wilder, A Festival of Praise. Yeah, I like that old gospel music. This is old stuff. You know, but yeah, there are a lot of stores that sell old records. Ooh, the New Christie Minstrels. Look at that. I haven't heard that in a long time. I think that was my dad's, actually. Got some of their old hippie stuff. The Chuck Wagon Gang, Standing on the Rock. There you go. But there's a lot of stuff you can find on record at a lot of those, at a lot of stores, right? Flea markets, junk shops, and there are some record stores out there that buy and sell old records. You can find that kind of stuff on record. You can find a lot of stuff that you can't find otherwise, and it's good for a musician to explore all of these different types of music. You might find some inspiration in there. Now, and also, you a lot of times can get a lot of free stuff when people are giving it away. I don't know about now, but it used to be that way. I'd see people giving away music collections on 8-track or record or, you know, old mediums that weren't around anymore. And I collected that stuff for a good while. I think most of it is at my parents' house. And when relatives would pass away, nobody wanted their record collections. When my grandma died, nobody wanted her record collection. I grabbed it up. She was a big Frank Sinatra fan. Had a whole stack of Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Bing Crosby, like all that kind of crooner stuff. I grabbed all of that. That's good stuff. My parents had one of those real old record players that played like the 78 RPM records, the ones that were like the big, it was a piece of furniture, basically. And when my dad's great aunt died, he snatched up all of her old 78 RPM records, whole bunch of old country western stuff from the 20s and 30s. Really cool stuff, you know what I mean? That original country western sound, a lot of western records, a lot of those like singing cowboys and that kind of stuff. Really, I used to listen to that stuff too. I really dug it. But yeah, you can find a lot of that stuff out there, and it's the kind of things that never made it to the more modern mediums. You know, I had a whole pile of older records, and still do, of stuff that you're not going to find it on CD, and you're certainly not going to find it on streaming. It's just not there. And it's a way to explore music that, I don't know, it feels really cool. It feels like almost like you're a musical archaeologist, huh? Yeah. But it is kind of neat going through those junk shops. It feels like you're just exploring, you're discovering things. That's what it is, the feel of discovery. And I could tell you, I have a pile of this stuff in here, which, like, here we go. That Musical Heritage Society, they have 18th century flute music, right? Maybe that's not your jam. It's my jam. I like it. I like that kind of stuff. What else do we got in here? Antonio Vivaldi's 6 Sonatas da Camera, right? Yeah, so 2 violins, violoncello, and harpsichord. There we go. Trying to pronounce it there. Georges Philippe Telemann 4 trio sonatas. That's the kind of cool stuff that, you know, I have that because the Musical Heritage Society, they did some really good recordings. I saw a video put up by Rick Beato a while ago talking about how difficult it can be to find the recording you want of a classical piece. How it can be very difficult. You look on streaming, there'll be 20 different versions of the same piece, and you're looking for a particular one. I've found like the Musical Heritage Society did really good versions, in my opinion. I like them. And you kind of have to have a record player to listen to them. What else we got in here? Early Baroque music of Italy. You know, this is the kind of stuff that I dig that can be kind of difficult to find otherwise. And of course, you know, I have more popular music in here as well. What else do I got? Oh damn, I didn't realize I had that. That got me some Flat and Scruggs. I remember that record. There we go. That's a good band. Old school bluegrass. Yeah, what else do I got? United States Navy Band National Tour. They're doing that old marching band music. Yeah, that's good stuff. A bunch of these were from the Baltimore County Public Library when they sometimes sell off, you know how libraries sell off old books? Well, they used to, lend records, and they'd sell off old records, and my mom would buy them up because she really liked exposing us to different kinds of music. Here we go. We got some George Strait. Does Fort Worth ever cross your mind? I had Dwight Yoakam, Guitars, Cadillacs, etc. in here, and I don't know what happened to it. I had a Joe Walsh record, too, and it disappeared. I got some Johnny Cash and, what we got? Tammy Wynette. The King, the Queen. Johnny Cash, Tammy Wynette. Some real treasures that you can find when you're going through old records. And some of that stuff, I'm sure, is on streaming. Johnny Cash, Tammy Wynette, George Strait. I'm sure they're on there, but some of this stuff isn't. And it really is really cool to just explore things. And sometimes when you're looking through those junk shops, you find a band that you love, and you find an album that you didn't know they put out. Right? Not everybody's albums were really, really popular. And some of that stuff got buried. You know what I mean? A lot of them bands, 60s, 70s, 80s, they had albums that just weren't that big. And they might not be on streaming. And you can find them, and you might like them. You might like that stuff. It's worth the effort, right? A little bit of exploration, and it's fun, and it's nice that you can get record players now again, and decent ones. I've seen you can get really expensive ones too. I think my wife got me like one of those inexpensive, it like a little suitcase, folds up. It's down there under my computer. I got it down underneath. So yeah, go out there, get you a record player, get just a cheap record player, hook it up to some speakers, and start exploring out-of-date music, the old stuff. There might be something in there that really grabs you. You never know until you check it out. All right, and speaking of which, check out my music here. There's links to streaming down below, and at the end there's a playlist that says Sad and Alone, live from the back room. That's my acoustic recordings that I did, and I'll see you all in the next video. I love you guys. Peace out, baby. Bye-bye.